Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Welcome to The Naked Truth, hosted by me, Lori Corrigan, and sponsored by Snake Charmer Men's Body Waxing. This show is all about nakedness, spiritual, emotional, mental, where I pay tribute to the valuable contributions you gentlemen make both personally and professionally. It's a safe zone for you guys to speak your minds amidst this current social climate where you struggle to be heard. You guys are being burned at the stake for sure, and I can't figure out why. Today, multifaceted show today. Think about where you get your CBD and your essential oil products. If you pick yours up from the corner mini mart, it's like planting cactus and expecting a rose bush to bloom. Efficacy and quality are of paramount concern in these industries today, with so many companies falling short on their product claims. I am looking at three very intuitive people who understand this issue. The first being alchemist and owner of H2E Aromatherapy, Nicholas Cappele, who has taken a page from his European heritage and family's pharmaceutical legacy to create plant-based products that open and heal the body's energy centers. Also joining us is Greg Centrone, co-owner of the very famous Bud's Glass Joint in Phoenix, to help us demystify the hype surrounding holistic health. And last but certainly not least is Deborah Solano, owner of Walking with Heart Bodywork and Healing, a board-certified massage therapist and body worker with over 25 years' experience. Welcome, all you fabulous energies today. Gosh, where do we start? Nicholas.
Yes.
Actually, let's start with Greg.
Okay.
I met you first out of the three here. I came into Bud's with no knowledge. You took some time with me that day. I think it was about an hour we chatted, and you helped me pick out what I needed. And two of the items were from Nicholas's business. And from that point, the CBD was an amazing addition to what I didn't realize I needed. And then there's Nicholas, who your story is phenomenal. We're going to get to in just a second. The connection to Deborah is between you, correct?
Correct.
The two of you.
Correct.
So let's start off. I want to hear how this Feng Shui request led you to where you are and who you are and what you're doing.
This all started 8 years ago. I was an interior designer, and one of the clients is a divorce attorney. She was moving to new space. She wanted me to use Feng Shui and biophilia in the design process. So the first day I was required to kind of pretend I was an assistant and sort of be in each department. And I came out of it with focusing on the energy that was required to do their job. And I focused on the chakras. So I ended up creating plant essences that I would pump in the room subliminally. I think it was about 9 months later, called me into the office, and she said that it's just phenomenal what's happened. And she challenged me to write a book to help people like her. And of course, the economy is down, and I thought, well, I can take a year off, and I wrote a book. I had to get an editor and a coach. Anyway, the process, I competed with 100 authors to go to New York. We had 30 seconds to do our pitch to ABC, NBC. Got a few radio presentations, and the best part was the book went to bestseller on Amazon. It was the coach that inspired me to go to the Phoenix public market so that I could interact with people, because what I do has to be experienced. From there, it just took off. And I've just been growing every year, new collection, and it's how the whole thing started.
Which is based in your family.
Yeah. Both sets of my mom's from Sicily, and they farmers and in the medical field. Same thing with my dad, was from Iowa. So they were all plant-based people originally. Yeah.
That pretty much from the womb set you up for what your life was going to be like.
I mean, I look back at it now, and it's, my grandmother would pull stuff out of the garden and create tinctures and, slap it on you. And
wow.
Yeah, it was that kind of thing.
Wow, you're a guru, I guess is a good word, a good label.
I don't know about that.
Greg?
Yeah.
Give us a little history on your holistic journey.
I would say probably about 13 years ago. I don't even remember the reason why, but started to get into health. Just personally start to take care of myself. Started reading a little bit about diet and why you should or shouldn't put stuff in your body. And that's what kind of where the spark started. I started to feel better and I just kept going with it. So from there, I would say I was at a place where I do interact with people all day and I'm able to talk with them and kind of learn how to help them. And I didn't realize it, but I have a passion for helping people feel better, whatever that may mean to that specific person. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Once the CBD started to come into my life, I was able to research it and see the health benefits to it and realize how well it helps people, including myself.
And your dog. It's not just for humans.
That's true. Yeah. It's definitely helped me with that because she's great. As I always say, she's a handful, but I don't think I'd want it any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll get more into that as far as how it affects the other parts of the animal kingdom besides just humans. Deborah, what is your history? And then if you can tack on there the difference between massage and body work.
Started out probably 12 after a horse accident. And just holistically, it ended up, they wanted to do skin grafting because I took so much skin off during the accident when I took the heel, the back of the calf. So actually, it was my dad next door with the veterinarian that was his best friend that said soak in Epsom salt every night. So did that, and then just physical therapy through massage, figuring out how massage was so helpful. The body will heal itself. You don't need to go in and have surgery. So kind of went down that path, went to school for physical therapy at NAU. During the 80s, they wanted a lot more males. So you just either keep interviewing and going down the same path and, spending money and figuring out courses to take. Or I just decided, well, I'll do exercise physiology. So that kind of piggybacked in with teaching as well. So I did kind of a dual degree through NAU, and I have an exercise physiology degree, and then just passionate about massage. And then that expanded into body work. So I do a lot of sound, and then just through a car accident this last year, more sound. So bowls, tuning forks, were all vibrational. And,
drums.
Mm-hmm. But the bowls and the forks, especially on the body and around the body, super healing. And then bringing it in the water moves it 7 times faster. So
Oh, yes. Okay, a little bit more about how that affects the body and the mind at the same time, the body work.
So even if people don't like to get traditional massage, you can take a bowl and just kind of calm them down with that root bowl. Just the vibration will ground them. You use different frequencies, like a Schumann frequency, which is the Earth's core, to ground people and calm them. So you can do those kinds of
Is that
work.
Putting it specifically on the body or over?
You can do both.
Okay.
And then if you use the bowls, you can even get it deeper down in if you use warm water in the bowl while you're playing on the body. It'll resonate down into the bones.
That is fascinating. I've not heard anything like that.
And then using oils, we've done that. He's come up to Savannah and done some sound healing. We use Nicholas's chakra oils while we're doing sound healing, which even opens up more things.
So everybody is connected here. Had you and Greg met before today?
No, we haven't.
Okay, so this is a great connection
Yes.
now. So your family background, more than what you just said, was the impetus for you taking your creativity and going, Nicholas, I'm asking, going in so many different directions. Is this where you sort of feel your why is? Or has it been a why all the way and now you're just switching from one to another?
Constant evolution. It just keeps, like we were talking about, coming in as an artist. And I've transformed I got started as a young kid. My parents were military and didn't have money for college. So I opened a salon in Tucson and built my first house when I was 18, sold it to a doctor, put myself through art school, and then did what my passion was to do design work. So I put myself through school, moved up to New York City. It just kept evolving. And they gave me the opportunity to do clothing design, floral design, interior design, and run salons at the same time. So it just keeps, you just never know.
And it's just not one thing you're locked into for 40 years of your life, and then you get that watch on the way they kick you out the door.
Yeah.
Reinvent constantly.
Yeah.
And would you explain how you and Greg met and how you started? You're not working together so much as you have your product in his store, but where does it go beyond that?
Greg has been a great inspiration to me. I met him at the Phoenix market, and this is before the CBD thing came. And just so you know, my dad was in Vietnam and had Agent Orange, so he was dying of cancer. And in Tucson, I used to grow. This is back in my hippie days, of course. And I would make brownies and bring it up to the hospital and make friends with the nurses. And half goes to Pops, half goes to... Mm-hmm. And so from that point, I knew the benefits of this, even though I don't smoke it or eat brownies anymore. But when I found out that it was legal in 50 states, I started doing my research. And I started talking to Greg, and he encouraged me to develop, since I already did skincare and whatnot. And that's where Deborah comes in. I forgot how, I think it was the air repair. Mm-hmm. A person that was dropping off crystal lamps. Yeah, she sprayed one of my sprays that I developed for the divorce attorney. And the woman wanted me to come in and present. So that's how that whole thing started. And after working with them for a good year, I developed the CBD collection, and I interviewed the therapist to find out what I could do differently than they already experienced. And one of the requests was that the lotion actually glides on the body and that the oil wasn't sticky. So I work with my company who does my bases to achieve that. We tested it. It went really, really well. Mm-hmm. And that's when I met Greg, and he encouraged me to broaden my horizon. So it's been a wild ride.
What do you see going forward?
Just continuing. I think that each year I'm always creating. I can't help myself. Mm-hmm. And like we were talking about, it's that interaction with people, and you listen to what they're looking for. That's where this latest collection that, for grief came from, just talking with people in need. But this year I'd like to just focus and make it stronger and get it out to the universe if I can.
And so those are part of your goals for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Utilizing the two people on either side of you, or the person on either side.
Yeah.
How are you making this a collective effort?
Well, I think we're all healers. And we all want to help each other. So it's that communication between us that constantly, keeps the spark going. So I just want to keep that strong. So
the CBD collection, is that the men and the women, the man cave and?
No, that's the man cave and the goddess are a total different collection. The CBD collection is on its own. It's for both male and female. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about how to get in touch with you later on. All three of you serve similar but different groups and segments of society. Greg, who is your most frequent type of customer, if there's one that exists?
That would be hard to say because I feel like I have my customers range, they're all over the board. Most of my CBD customers that are coming in, they also range all over the board, which probably the same for you guys as well. It could be, young adults into older adults, the elderly, because everybody is looking for some sort of healing, and CBD has been this amazing, amazing tool for that, this natural healing, because I think the society is just starting to get tired of pharmaceuticals and chemicals and all of these easy fixes. And they found this wonderful product in whichever way they use it, that really can help, whether it's pain, anxiety, whatever they're suffering from. It's kind of like a miracle plant.
We're looking at it as a miracle plant because there are entities working hard to keep it away from us.
Absolutely.
So it's a miracle that we actually can use it.
Yeah.
You use Nicholas's products, right,
Yes.
Deborah?
And yeah, I've also worked in, prior to this, I've worked on my own in a medical dispensary called the Giving Tree up on Deer Valley. It was a space across from the airport. And I learned a lot just working in that space. They had a dispensary, and then the yoga and massage room was on the other side. But I would see people coming in with breast cancer and radiation, and they'd want salve on them. They would use the salve, the CBD salve, and the lotions. You couldn't even tell they didn't even look sunburned. So you could see the healing quality even after getting radiation from those kind of things. So I knew how CBD helped. And they would use the stems for dogs before the vets got a hold of them for epilepsy, for seizures. So people were giving the stems to their dogs before the vets even got a hold of the CBD stuff. So
that's in its organic form.
yes,
The stems.
Yep.
Okay, let's run with that. So the various formats of CBD. I've recently been advised to seek out the crystal isolate. Does that sound familiar? Where it's not adulterated by oil or any kind of mixture. That if you can get the plant matter, that is the green goopy stuff, or the stem, or the isolate, that you're getting 100% of that. How much truth is there to the efficacy, the changes in how you dispense it, how someone would take it?
I think it depends on the person's needs. You know, the people that come into my store, they have different needs. If somebody's trying to use it for anxiety or something in that mental capacity, that's when they're going to use like a tincture for ingestion. Some people like to vape it or smoke it because it enters the bloodstream the fastest that way. So when you're having heightened anxiety, you want something to calm you down right away. So not everybody can put a tincture in and wait 30 minutes because by then they're at the point of suffering. And if it's somebody that comes in and it's something to do with the body, that's where the topicals are most effective. You know, a lot of times they'll come in looking for, somebody told me to get the tincture. What are you using it for? Well, I have severe pain in my knees or my back. And whereas it does help ingestion-wise, the topicals have been by far more effective when it comes to body pain in that way. You know, and with the products that we carry in the store, it's quality over quantity. You know, as you said at the beginning, getting at the corner market, they don't really care what's in it. They just want to make money, you know, and I'm looking for, you know, what's going to help people without poisoning them. I don't want them putting chemicals on their skin because, yeah, it's taking the pain away because of the CBD in there, but what else is it doing to them? You know? So when I had a conversation with Nicholas and understood what he was all about, I'm a label reader. So, you know, I'm constantly looking at the ingredients list, and we just are on the same page as far as healing goes. So I'm comfortable passing that on to the customer. And Nicholas and I share very similar stories where we'll have a tester out of one of his products. We challenge people, you know. He's told me before, you know, I'll have people come to the farmer's market and he said, just put a little bit of this on the back of your neck. And they do once around and come back and say, where is that? I'm feeling relief already. You know, I've had, I'll share one short story. I had a guy come into the store who had thrown his back out because he has, you know, continual back problems. And he was kind of hunched over. So for me, it's like, I just want a person that's in pain to have some sort of relief. So I said, put this on your back while you're in the store, and you'll see it's going to start to get some relief. This isn't so I can sell the product. It's so the person can have something to help them feel better. What's crazy was within 5 minutes, He's like, I can't believe this. I'm like, what's going on? And he said, you saw how I was standing when I walked in here. I said, yeah. He's like, I'm standing up straight. I'm not feeling any pain anymore. So that quickly, it had affected him in a positive way.
You see the fear that puts into big pharma.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because so many people are, again, our society is just done with dealing with pharmaceuticals because you don't feel yourself anymore. And then you have all these other things that come up in your health that's just destroying your body.
Well, yeah, on that note, I can add a story to yours about all the crap and filler and chemical in it, in body waxing and taking hair off. People come to me proud that they've used Nair, and I cringe because what that does, it's perfect. It's a great marketing ploy, and so is self-waxing kits on the market. It's just sets them up for absolute disaster. Nair dissolves the hair into jelly, and as it sits on the skin, it's inflaming it terribly, and then it takes a trip down into the bloodstream. Once they hear those words and they see the shock on my face and the begging, please don't use it anymore, it's similar to you. Show the results of what you have to fix what they're doing in a much safer way. The efficacy of going through the digestive system, what is that? Is there a better way? In general, if someone could not take it through their digestive system, for the speed, of course, and for losing some of that efficacy as it gets processed. So something other than that, is there a truth to that?
I would say with all of the products that I've tried out, they all have an effect in a different way. I think there's something for everyone out there. So whereas some people, like I like the tinctures as far as ingestion because it's almost like something you do to prevent anxiety from happening or that sort of thing. But if somebody for some reason can't take a liquid like that, there's always like aromatherapy vapes, which also you have to be very careful with. The ones we sell don't have anything else in them besides, essential oils, the CBD product. And then when you were talking about the isolate, whereas that's a super concentrated form of it, I do see the benefits to it. Sometimes what's happening with that is you're isolating one molecule of CBD. So you're not getting the full spectrum, which was one of my first questions with Nicholas. Are you using full spectrum in your products? And he does. So I do think that some people need that concentration, but I also think it needs to be accompanied by a full spectrum process. So
yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't realize.
Right.
Full spectrum.
Yeah, they look at the milligram and they're like, well, this is 1,200 milligrams, so that's the one I need. And I'm like, no. We have a tincture in the store right now. It's by a company called Ojai. It's full spectrum, and it's also what they call a hydrosome process, where it's basically the way they extract it. Each molecule of CBD is suspended in water, so it absorbs in your mucous membranes instantly. So in 10 to 15 seconds rather than 15, 20, 30 minutes. It's also water soluble, and it's the only water soluble one that I found that doesn't use a chemical to make it water soluble. So if you, for some reason, want to add it to your daily routine, put it in your tea in the morning, even your coffee, it doesn't float. It doesn't taste. My girlfriend owns a tea shop, and she has a lot of holistic teas on the menu. And she added this one because she was searching for something that didn't affect the taste of the tea. And so with this, she offers drops into the tea and it doesn't affect the taste at all.
Wow. That's no holding the nose trying to do something that's good for you.
Exactly.
Deborah, I have a list of your expertise here that I've not heard of all of them. So I'm going to read them off. A variety of massage modalities, including Watsu, Reiki, tuning forks and singing bowls, which we discussed, Wace, and hot cold stones, bamboo fusion, Thai sports, rock and rain, myofascial, crystal, and chakra balancing. Rock and rain, what the heck?
That's medicinal. So that's a really, the Native Americans call it rain bath, but it's a rock and rain. It's a Lakota, the lady that trained me is Lakota, Native American. So they take hot stones and you open with essential oils on the hands and feet, put some hot stones in the hands and feet. And then you take 9 different essential oils, feather them down the spine, and then heat back up the spine, do a little gentle rocking. So it's medicinal. You leave it on. It's basically flu therapy. We did a lot of those treatments at the dispensary. I would do a lot of those after people came after chemo and wanted some immune boosting and things.
A lot, or if not all of your services include relaxation and energy exchange.
Yes.
Just by default of who you are.
Reiki. Once you're Reiki trained, you really can't turn it off.
And you even harbored it before you were officially certified, trained. Mm-hmm. It's something you have that you're just putting down on paper that you can do legally, right?
Yes.
You have it. A lot of people have a misconception about energy work. Also massage therapy, thinking that I got to leave there feeling like crap if it's going to be working. And for you, it's not so much. For some of your clients, do you do deep tissue?
That's what myofascial, we were just talking about that. I'm like, you do not need to be pushed through the table. It's a lot of novice people with elbows camping in the same spot, which is really kind of damaging the tissue. So if you work it myofascially, you can work the layers and get that deep, relaxed effect, efficiently working the body.
So you, like I am, always up against misinformation in your industry. And everybody here. Absolutely. Because the ones who get the most attention are the loudest yellers, and those are the ones who are not usually doing it correctly for a profit reason.
Right.
How do you, when you have someone coming in who doesn't know what the heck he or she wants, but has been referred to you, how do you make the inroads to know exactly what it is right from all of your skill sets?
It ends up being kind of a combination. So that's why I'm so glad I have diverse tools. And then you just work the massage that they need, whether it's, starting with the bowls to work the body and then going into the body work and the traditional massage.
You probably don't even have to chart it. You just follow your intuition for a lot of it because it's all based in energy. And the physical thing you do is an extension of that energy.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people do you have who tell you could never move or die because I'm not going to anyone else but you?
I do have a lot of people that still follow me. I have people from the dispensary. That's where I still, I work full time up at Savannah at a wellness resort in Carefree. And then I still have my own side business where I still service people that I've seen for years, or just people that don't want to come to that atmosphere, or people that are too sick. I also do Thursdays at assisted living, and I go into memory care, and I use all Nicholas's lovely, the tranquility oil. The hospice nurses come in there. They're like, the room smells so good. The CBD lotion.
That makes sense. They're drawn in there. They're absorbing the pain of the family. And can you be a hospice nurse without being an empath at the same time?
No.
Typically not. Yeah, there has to have that. So the group you serve, or the groups you serve, are quite diverse as well.
Yes.
Taking it to the point where even in-life care
yes,
can be gentle.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Thank you for doing that. All right, you guys, all entrepreneurs, challenges that start with Nicholas.
We were just talking about that on the way here. Just all the ups and downs that we have to go through. And what I have discovered that the most important thing is to lead with your heart.
What does that mean?
Well, it doesn't. It's not about just making money. That will happen, but I just find a lot of people, they get hooked on something, that they think is going to take them to whatever, and they're unhappy, miserable. Yes, they're making tons of money and they have their 401ks or whatever, but if you listen to your heart and just go forward, it'll come. And that's how I meet these incredible people.
Fear is, and you were raised that way. You were raised with that absolute blessing of being in touch with yourself and the world around you, correct?
Well, it was interesting as a kid. We lived in Germany for 6 years, and my dad, being a farm boy, wanted us to experience the true culture. So we never lived on the base. And we were tutored by German nuns who spoke no English.
Pointed a lot,
so
right?
both my sister and I had to learn very quickly. And the takeaway years later, when we come back to the States, is that I just learned so much about being observant, respecting other cultures. While we were there, we did tons of travel, as much as we could. And being that Europe is so much smaller than the United States, we could speak German and someone in Switzerland would understand us. Okay, so we would be the interpreters. And it just opened up all these doors to people sharing, you know. Even as a kid, you just pick that up. So,
what a concept.
Yeah,
So you were taught, you were raised with an open heart. You didn't know anything differently.
I guess not.
And at the point when you came to the United States and saw things were different than they were in Europe.
I mean, some days it's tough, you know, there's a lot of negativity out there, but you just have to keep it right here and just do the best you can, you know.
And people who are ready to receive your message and your products and your goodwill and your energy will be, but you're dropping the seeds all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's as good as we can do to begin with.
Yeah.
When things get so unbearable for people who don't feel they know how to help themselves, no matter how they get back to you, they come back to you and they realize that it's not woo-woo. We're all in woo-woo stuff.
Right.
I do some energy work as well, and clients on the table, they have to sit on the edge of the table when we're done. And they're so taken aback by how lightheaded they are, how invigorated yet relaxed they are. And I did nothing but a surface service on their skin. So it was a test run when I first started doing it. And I named it very generically Stress Buster so people would understand. And immediately they go, oh, it's a massage. No, it's not. And I won't use the U word because then they're going to be gone. The guys gloss over energy. What do you mean by energy? Are you zapping me or no? Let's just try it. I've asked clients to give me some descriptors. Can't do it. You just have to have them come in there and experience it. And the conversations, it's a quiet service, and the conversations that go on afterward, I thought, are none. They cannot find words, which so grateful to see them at the depths of when they walked in, they could barely put two words together because they couldn't think straight. And now they're so aligned, they still can't put two words together. So the power the three of you have in your individual industries, which definitely intersect. Do you ever sit down and think I call it the Snowden effect. If you've seen the film when it was shown to us how Facebook is connected by one person, and they go to that one person's connections and then the other people's connections, and you've got millions and billions of people connected by one person. Do you ever stop to think? When you're a giver, you don't, but how many people have really been touched by you and you've made their lives better? Are you allowed to thank yourselves for the good you're doing? Do you thank yourselves?
Yes, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to live with gratitude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting with yourself.
Yes.
So you donate your time to what causes do you donate to?
I have worked for Music Relief with Lincoln Park, Chester Bennington's
Excellent.
Foundation.
Excellent.
So I've done some of that, and then just sliding scale veterans and elderly hospice.
And I adore you allowing yourself to get emotional, because that's what this is all. And you're touched by it because...
Absolutely. They make a difference. You make a difference. It's a little pebble ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
We need more of that in the world for sure.
Yes. And you're at the head of the class, showing people how it's done. Thank you for doing that. As far as your philanthropic quests, what do you do, or what do you see in the future on a bigger picture for you?
Well, presently, right now, I work my web person, we work with, it's called Prosperity, Packs for Prosperity. And a couple years ago, she was inundated with homeless people on the freeway, and she did some research on how she could help them. And we developed a program. I guess she did a questionnaire, and these people can get water. Sometimes they can get food. But one of the things that was missing, they did not have money to get personal hygiene things. So when I do my production work, I always do samples. And usually every month I put together a package and we give it to people. So it reaches out to people. I don't know who they are, but I hope they feel the love, you know.
Is the CBD in it too?
There's some, it depends on what I have, but it's all the collections that I do.
Nice.
They need soaps, they need shampoos and conditioners.
And they might be getting pain relief as well because what you've infused.
Yeah, I mean, usually most of my products, like when I first develop something, I meditate on my whole formula. And as a kid, my grandmother used to call me Estrega because I was a little witch.
Thank you for the compliment. Yeah.
But I would get a jolt. And as a kid, I didn't pay attention. I would just blurt something out and freak everybody out. And as an adult, I realized that was not cool. So I just kept it inside and learned to pay attention to it. And every time I did not pay attention to it, I would pay for it. So I just go inside, listen, and it's been very helpful.
Is that what we call our intuition?
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's speaking to me. So
you're just more open to it because we all
when
possess.
I for example, when we were talking about developing this this latest Ataraxis composition, I meditated the blends, and I, as an alchemist, you've got your mid notes, your base notes, you add and you inhale, and if it works, I get my jolt. If it doesn't, then I move on to the next until I do. And I went through about 11 compositions, and I got it. And then I tested it on.
Gives you chills.
These guys their hair was standing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I knew.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. That's my process.
What's the definition of an alchemist?
Well, it's someone that works with plant material, and an alchemist can be that works with perfume, or just that. It's almost like a little scientist type process, I guess.
Would you say mad scientist?
I
Because
guess.
that's what we're gonna point for the image. You know, one drop here, one drop there.
Yeah,
Being mad is not a bad thing.
I guess not.
When we're in the company of the sameness here, now we all understand we can self-identify as fringe and flying our freak flag and whatever labels society needs to put on us because we refuse to fit neatly in any box. Greg, you were very generous to me with your time and your product when I first came into you. What else do you have going on in the wings?
Just to continue on with that, I had somebody come in yesterday, college student, and she was looking for something for her Nana, who said suffered from restless leg syndrome. So I said, okay. We talked about some different things, CBD-wise, what could work, what would be best for her. And as the conversation went on, this poor woman who is in her 70s has been on opiates, prescribed opiates for 20 plus years, and I said, well, I'm not a doctor, but she's going through withdrawals. This is not a disease she's suffering from other than addiction, So, it's interesting to me because, like I said earlier, we have all walks of life come in there with all kinds of different problems. And a lot of people don't understand that because of the nature of what my business is. Mm-hmm. But it allows me to have a platform to connect with people, understand what's going on, and kind of do what I can to help. Because I think that, with all the darkness that we see in the world on the news and everything that's kind of jammed down our throat, you can get overwhelmed with, oh my God, what is going on in this world? But as, all of us understand, we can change the world with, just with one person in one person's day, you know. So to see this girl have hope for her grandmother, you know, and it allows me also to give, again, samples of products, which I think is the best way to get people to understand you're not trying to make a buck off of them. You know, you truly want to help them. It's like you said, it's not about making money. That'll come, but it's about empathy and really like understanding how you can help a person heal themselves, you know? So I look forward to just more of people understanding the stigma being broken down so they feel comfortable enough to come into my businesses so that we can give them that help, you know. And I'm not the only one there. I have a whole staff of people. They all are the same way, with the same knowledge. It's been an interesting ride because I did not think coming into this industry that that's where I would end up, you know, but it really is, as we all know here, it's definitely like, let's say, a platform to connect with people, like the farmers market, like your clinics. You know, it's just about human connection and building each other up. And, you know, that's how we change the world, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps not the whole world. We're looking to carve
right
enough that people are paying attention, are actually lending the ear to hear what we say, because there's so much garbage that's just strewn about. Who knows what to listen to and who's telling the truth? So who wants to speak on basically for those who aren't here in Phoenix, because Bud's Glass Joint is the coolest vibe place, so that's where you want to start. But people who are listening from out of state or out of the area, who has quick notes on basics of how to choose the right CBD? Or is that a case-by-case thing?
I would say it's a case-by-case thing. I think a starting point is to go to Nicholas's website, because I have not seen more of a difference in people's life than with his product, you know. And I have quite a few different products, all high quality, but that's been the most effective that I've seen with people, including myself personally, my whole family, you know. So, and with him having his website, he's able to connect with people from all over. And you just go to the site and you can see his message and what he's about, you know. And once you get the product, you know, the proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Mm-hmm. And I use your products as well. So I often wonder when you're watching TV, which probably none of us do, but the commercials where they have celebrity endorsements, you know darn well they're not using the product. So without sitting here talking with you, I can say, Nicholas, that your products have changed my life in a number of ways. Clarity, mood, status quo instead of jumping up and down, inflammation, definitely back, which all of us can benefit from. And it was all with one product. And it's a moisturizer. I also tried the lotion. I've tried several others. They're all wonderful. I could buy everything you sell and find a use for it. When you have people come to you, or do you? Because you supply a lot of the hotels. Is that correct? Where is your product found in the Valley?
Well, at Greg's, several wellness centers, Full Circle Wellness, Talking Stick Spa, Savannah, even chiropractors' offices, AJ's. There's 3 stores that carry my products. So it's a start.
Which other stores, in case people don't want to go to the resorts?
AJ's, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's one in Arrowhead, the one at Lincoln, and the one on 44th and Camelback.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not in the East Valley yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's to be shortly, I'm sure.
We'll see how that goes.
All right, you guys, this has been amazing, and we want to make sure everyone knows how to reach you. So, Deborah, you start first.
So at Savannah, at Carefree,
and
they can look at the resort. It's a wellness resort. And then Walking with Heart is Walking with Heart Bodywork and Healing.
Okay.
And I'm also on AMTA. So if you plug in American Massage Therapy Association and then just hit find a therapist, you can put in a zip code. I'm an Arizona chapter member. and then board certification, so national board certification massage therapist, and then just added the Watsu. So I'm on the WABA board or Watsu, and they can find me on the Watsu website.
Do you have one email they can reach you at for any questions or
Sure.
or a website?
Personal email is, so it's Solano, Deb@cox.net.
Go ahead and spell that out.
SOLANODEB @cox.net.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Nicholas?
I have 2 websites. I've been required to have a separate website for my CBD products, which is
a whole other show.
A whole different show, yes. And we just got it up like 2 weeks ago. H2E Aromatherapy.com. That's where you'll find my CBD products. And the rest of my collection is on the original H2E Design Store.com.
Okay.
And you can also see me down at the Phoenix Public Market every Saturdays. And then, of course, the stores that I talked about.
Okay. And that's the only public market you're at?
Yeah.
You don't go around the valley?
No, not
Okay.
anymore. I don't have time.
Yes. Isn't that a shame,
Yeah.
right?
It's worth the trip,
Yes.
wherever you are, to go down to that farmer's market to see Nicholas.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the whole place is awesome, and it's centrally located for
Yeah,
the
I
valley,
agree.
pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have people come over.
And how, Greg, are we going to get in contact with you besides?
Well, yeah, I encourage you to come into the stores. I have 2 locations. They're both in downtown Phoenix. Bud's Glass Joint is in the Roosevelt Row Arts District, and Bud's on Grand is on the Grand Avenue Arts District. We also have a website. It's budsglassjoint.com. And if you needed to email us, you could do budsglassjoint@gmail.com. So that's pretty much how you can find us. You'll also see me wandering around the farmer's market most Saturdays, hanging around with Nicholas.
With that grin on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that unmistakable grin. And I've read a lot of your reviews, Greg. Some wacky, some excellent, all really good. You have just a chill vibe in there. It all comes from the top down, and your entire staff is just very approachable and knowledgeable, and everything's real chill in there. So if anyone's uncomfortable with coming into a store like yours because of the hype around it, that all you are is paraphernalia or something. Yeah. Speak to that for 1 second. So what are you and what are you not?
So I hate to use the term smoke shop. I wanted to showcase glass art in the Arts District. And for most glass blowers, the way they can make a living is to make a pipe. You know, that's the way they can feed their family. You know, so that's where the art starts. I do know that there is very much holistic healing in cannabis as well. But it gives me a platform for carrying whatever I want, really. So I try not to label it a smoke shop because there's so many in the valley that are scary and dark and just, you know, a place where people think drug addicts go.
Yes.
So I worked for a woman for 13 years, and her store was very same way, warm, inviting, knowledgeable staff, bright. Working for a woman taught me those things. She was my mentor. So I encourage people to walk through the door because as soon as they do, the stigma will be broken as soon as they have a conversation with any of the staff there.
Yes.
You know.
And that absolutely was my experience.
Yeah.
So Thank you, all 3 of you, for being here. You've been listening to The Naked Truth, hosted by me, Lori Corrigan, and sponsored by Snake Charmer Men's Body Waxing. This show is all about nakedness, spiritual, emotional, and mental, where I pay tribute to the valuable contributions you gentlemen make both personally and professionally. It's a safe zone for you guys to speak your minds amidst the current social climate where you struggle to be heard. Until next time.